We've got breaking news here in Los Angeles. A verdict in the rape and sexual assault trial of former Hollywood producer Harvey Weinstein. Dana Griffin is following it all. Dana, what are you hearing?
Lester, the 70-year-old former Hollywood movie mogul has now been convicted of rape on both coasts. A jury in Los Angeles returning guilty verdicts on 3 counts, including forcible rape. The announcement came after 10 days of deliberations and a nearly 2-month-long trial.
A Los Angeles jury has found Harvey Weinstein guilty of rape and sexual assault, 5 years after dozens of women spoke out against the Hollywood producer and galvanized the #MeToo movement. After more than 9 days of deliberation, the jury convicted Weinstein of 3 counts of rape and sexual assault against one woman, a European model and actor who testified anonymously as Jane Doe 1, while remaining divided on 3 other charges of rape and sexual assault by 2 other accusers, including Jennifer Siebel-Newsom, the wife of California's governor. Weinstein was also acquitted of a sexual battery allegation made by a 4th woman. So, how has the disgraced film producer reacted to the charges? Let's find out. The guilty verdict on some of the most serious charges in the Los Angeles case, including forcible rape, seals the downfall of the former Hollywood power broker in the town where he once operated as a king. Weinstein, 70, who is already serving a 23-year prison sentence after a criminal conviction in New York in 2020, now faces a maximum of 18 to 24 additional years in prison and is expected to spend the rest of his life incarcerated, no matter the outcome of the current appeal of his conviction in New York. But the jury's inability to reach a verdict about the criminality of Weinstein's actions toward 2 women, including Siebel-Newsom, whose husband is widely expected to eventually run for president, may be a difficult outcome for some of the more than 90 women who have spoken out about being sexually assaulted or sexually harassed by Weinstein over the course of his decades-long career. Throughout the trial, Weinstein's lawyers used sexism, misogyny, and bullying tactics to intimidate, demean, and ridicule as survivors, Siebel-Newsom said in a statement after the verdict. This trial was a stark reminder that we as a society have work to do. The verdict marks the 2nd time Weinstein has been found guilty of sex crimes. The jury in Weinstein's criminal trial in New York arrived at a similarly mixed verdict, convicting the former producer of rape in the 3rd degree and sexual assault, but acquitting him of predatory sexual assault and 1st-degree rape. A Los Angeles jury convicted Weinstein on all 3 charges involving Jane Doe 1, who had testified that Weinstein had unexpectedly showed up at her hotel room door during a 2013 Los Angeles Film Festival, forced her to perform oral sex, then forcibly raped her. Her emotional testimony, in which she described her feelings of shame, guilt, and self-destruction, left her sobbing so hard on the stand on her first day of testimony that the judge adjourned court early. Weinstein's defense team had argued that her account was completely fabricated and responded by showing the jury images of the upbeat social media posts she had made in the days following the alleged attack. The criminal trial was brutal and Weinstein's lawyers put me through hell on the witness stand, but I knew I had to see this through to the end. And I did, Jane Doe once said in a statement after the verdict. Harvey Weinstein forever destroyed a part of me that night in 2013, and I will never get that back, she said. The jury's inability to reach a verdict on 3 of the 7 criminal charges Weinstein faced, involving 2 different alleged victims, followed weeks of graphic, emotional testimony from a total of 8 women who testified that Weinstein raped or sexually assaulted them at hotels around the world, many of them during what they thought would be networking meetings about opportunities in the film industry. The film executive only faced criminal charges in the case of the alleged assaults that happened in California, involving 4 of the women. Some of the most emotional testimony of the trial came from Siebel-Newsom, a documentary filmmaker now married to the governor of California, Gavin Newsom. Siebel-Newsom testified that Weinstein assaulted and raped her during what she thought would be a business meeting in a hotel in 2005 when she was a young actor and producer still trying to find her way in the industry. She repeatedly wept on the stand, calling the alleged attack her worst nightmare, and faced an aggressive cross-examination from Weinstein's defense, who presented her as someone who had engaged in consensual sex to advance her career and, in their opening statement, referred to her as a bimbo. The jury could not reach a verdict on whether Weinstein forcibly raped and assaulted Siebel, resulting in a mistrial on those charges, and also could not reach a verdict on whether Weinstein had assaulted Jane Doe 2, another young model and aspiring screenwriter, in a bathroom after what she thought would be a business meeting. Gloria Allred, a lawyer representing Jane Doe 2, said after the verdict that her client was 100% committed to testifying again if she was asked to do so. Newsom, California's governor, who was not allowed to be present in the courtroom during his wife's testimony, said in a statement that he was incredibly proud of his wife and all the brave women who came forward to share their truth and uplift countless survivors who cannot. The first partner of California will continue to fight for all women and all survivors of abuse against a system that permits the victim to be shamed and re-traumatized in the name of justice, Elizabeth Fegan, an attorney for Siebel, said in a statement. Fegan criticized Weinstein's defense for highlighting the continued professional email correspondence and other professional interactions her client had had with Weinstein after the alleged rape, arguing that their defense suggested that a woman who is assaulted must forego her chosen career or be accused of consent after the fact. Harvey Weinstein will never be able to rape another woman. He will spend the rest of his life behind bars where he belongs, Siebel said in a statement. Throughout the trial, the prosecution painted a picture of Weinstein as a predator who used a pattern of manipulation and coercion to snare his prey. For this predator, hotels were his trap, said Marley Martinez, an attorney in the case, during closing arguments. She pointed to patterns in testimony from the women who described Weinstein approaching and attacking them in similar ways. Martinez said that Weinstein's accusers were pursuing their dreams in Hollywood, but at the end of that dream was the monster at the end of that table. Reacting to Weinstein's mixed verdict was actress Mira Sorvino, who also spoke out against the longtime producer for sexual misconduct. Guilty, again, she tweeted, "I only regret that Jane Doe 2 and Jennifer Siebel-Newsom and Lauren Young were denied justice." On her part, Los Angeles County Supervisor Lindsay Horvath tweeted that the verdict is an important step toward justice for the women Weinstein has manipulated and abused throughout his lifetime. Weinstein, who chose not to testify, appeared shrunken and pale sitting in court as the weeks went on. As the first guilty verdicts were read, he appeared to put his head in his hands. The 70-year-old had pleaded not guilty to all charges, and his attorney staged an aggressive defense, attacking the credibility of his accusers and labeling Siebel-Newsom a bimbo. Legal observers said the blatant misogyny of Weinstein's defense was striking and seemed like a flashback to the tactics of the 1980s. His defense argued that two accusers had made up the testimony and that the others had engaged in consensual, transactional sex that they were trying to retroactively label as assault. Weinstein's team also hammered on graphic details, including the sound Siebel made during her alleged assault, as well as the accuracy of another accuser's description of Weinstein's genitalia. In his closing arguments, defense attorney Alan Jackson warned the jurors not to be swayed by the influence of the #MeToo movement and said that the testimony of 8 different women had not produced evidence beyond a reasonable doubt that he had committed any crime. The truth is immutable. It's not a feeling. It's not a whim. It's not a hashtag, Jackson said. The law is not captive to the shifting sands of a popular movement. Jackson called Siebel-Newsom's decision to speak out publicly against Weinstein in 2017, as other women had begun to speak out. A choice motivated by public perception. She turned on him in a second, not because it was true, but because it was trendy. Jackson said Weinstein initially faced 11 rape and assault charges from a total of 5 accusers, but prosecutors said halfway through the trial that the 5th accuser would not be testifying and dropped 4 charges related to her. His latest conviction hands a victory to victims of sexual misconduct of famous men in the wake of some legal setbacks, including the dismissal of Bill Cosby's conviction last year. The rape trial of that '70s show actor Danny Masterson, held simultaneously and just down the hall from Weinstein's, ended in a mistrial this month. And actor Kevin Spacey was victorious at a sexual battery civil trial in New York last month. Because a New York court has agreed to hear an appeal of Weinstein's conviction there, some of the dozens of women who have spoken out publicly against him have been worried that, like Bill Cosby, he could end up being released. There you have it. Do you think justice has been served for all these women? Or should more have been done? Let us know in the comments below. And that's it from us today. Until next time, bye.